Okay, we are back and we are going to do in our class book page 18. So page 18, there's not actually any questions. What we need to do here is we need to learn about something. So it says, read the two groups of sentences. How are they different? Can you see how they're different? Let's take a look at them. Number one says, Dan watered the flower. Dan watered the flower. And this one says, he watered the flower. He watered the flower. If we think about it, the first one says, Dan watered the flower. The second one says, he watered the flower. Well, let's look at it. Here is Dan. I can't seem to make a smiley face. Ooh, that's ugly. Ooh, Mr. James. Your pictures are ugly, Mr. James. That's not a good smile. I'll get my eraser and I'll try my smile again. Here is my smile. Much better. Dan is much happier now. Now, here is Dan. And here is his flower. And Dan has a watering can. And he waters the flower. Dan waters the flower. But is Dan? This one says he. He watered the flower. Well, can Dan be he? Dan can be he. So Dan is a he. So we say a word that we can use instead of a name is a... Oh, wait a second. Before I tell you, do you remember what this kind of word is? Like Dan? Dan is a name, right? Well, is there another name here? Dan watered the flower. It's a name for a person, a place, or a thing. Here's one here, flower. Flower is the name of a thing. Now, when we have these words that are names for things, these naming words are called noun. Noun. It's called a noun. A noun is a naming word like Dan or flower or dog or cat or even rise and home. Those are naming words. They name places, people, and things. So when we use a word like he instead of a naming word, we call it a pro. Got to make my N a little more neatly. A pronoun. Pronoun. And it's actually just one word, so I don't need this line here. It's a pronoun. A pronoun is a word we use instead of the word that we have in the first part. So let's say Dan watered the flower, right? And now here's the flower. Do 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 do. Now Dan will go very close to the flower. Here's Dan, and here's his nose, and he, what's he doing? What's Dan doing? He's getting the air from close to the flower and putting it in his nose. What's he doing? He's smelling, right? So Dan smelled the flower. But if we say Dan watered the flower, Dan watered the flower, and then say Dan smelled What does it all mean? Well, instead of saying Dan again, we can just say he. Aha, Dan watered the flower. He smelled the flower. So now our story has two things happening. And in the first part, Dan watered the flower. In the second part, he smelled the flower. So he means Dan. What if I wrote after that, he smiled. Ooh, ooh, smiled. He smiled. Who is he? It's still Dan, right? Good job. Now we are going to get our eraser, erase that. And we're going to look at our next sentence. It says, Jane fed the birds. Jane fed the birds. And instead of saying Jane fed the birds over here, it says she fed the birds. So let's see. Here is much better smile. Jane is a girl, so we'll give her some long hair. And there's her body. And her legs. And her arm. And she's going to dot, 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 dot. She's dropping all these little seeds for the birds to eat. Ooh, funny looking bird. Okay, so Jane fed the birds. Well, what could Jane do next? Let's see. What could Jane do? I don't know. Well, if she's feeding the birds, she must be at the park, right? Is she at home? Well, maybe at the park, Jane what could she do now? Here's Jane again. And this time, Jane will get an ice cream. So here's Jane feeding the birds. Now Jane gets an ice cream. So what will our sentence be? Will we say Jane got ice cream? Well, we could, or instead of Jane, we could just put what word? We could just put the word she. Sh-e. She got ice cream, right? Because she is Jane. Could we say he instead of she? Well, we could, but then would it be okay? No, because he is for boys and she is for girls. Okay, that was really easy, wasn't it? Now, we're going to look at maybe one more, oh, Mr. James, one more example. And it says, can you read it? What does it say? The tree grew tall. The tree grew tall. I'm going to have to get my green for this. And what kind of tree? I'm going to make a pointy, pointy, pointy tree like this. Okay, there's my tall, tall tree. And I'm going to make the bottom part of the tree over here. And how do I know it's tall? I can't tell if it's tall. I'm going to put orange head. And Ding. Okay, there you are. Ooh, see? It is a tall tree. It says, the tree grew tall, and it grew tall. What could the tree do after it grows tall? Well, let's think. The tree grew tall. Oops. The tree grew tall. What else can the tree do? Oh, we could say, I know, we could say, the tree was a great. What the tree was a great what? Well, look at the shape. What kind of tree is it? It's going to be a cr is a tree. The tree was a great Christmas tree. But let's listen to it. The tree grew tall. The tree was a great Christmas tree. Doesn't sound bad, does it? But I just keep saying the tree, the tree, the tree. So instead of saying the tree, the tree, the tree, what can I say instead of the tree? Will I say he? Will I say she? Well, the tree is not a boy. The tree is not a girl. The tree is a thing. So we will say, did you tell me? Oh, maybe. What am I writing? It says it. It. So for a girl is a she, and a boy ooh, so messy. A boy is a he. But a thing, like a tree, is an it. It. It was a great Christmas tree. All right, let's take a look at our next sentence. It says, Ben and I like the tree. Well, I is always I. It's me. But if you say I, it's you. So here is I, here is Ben. And together, well, here, so my sentence, it is Mr. James. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I'll dry my eyes again. So together, with me inside, it is a we. We like the tree. But if Mr. James is not here, Mr. James is gone. Mr. James, Mr. James is over here. And I say the tree is too big. Too big. I do not like the tree. I do not like the tree. I do not like the tree. Those people over there like the tree, not me. Right? So instead of we, it becomes a they. Not with me, but without me, it is they. So if I am here, it's a we. If I'm not there, it's a they. They like the tree. We like the tree.